The Colts were able to come away with a victory against the Titans, finally winning in Lucas Oil, finally beating the Titans again. It had been a long time since either of those things happened, but they finally got it done on Sunday with a 23-16 win. And the big story coming out of this game, of course, is Anthony Richardson and his injury. He had x-rays done. The x-rays were negative, which is a very positive sign. It's not a collarbone. It's not a dislocation or anything. So the belief right now, and this is from Adam Schefter on Twitter, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson is undergoing an MRI on his shoulder today, but the initial belief is it's a sprained AC joint pending further testing. And as far as shoulder injuries go for quarterbacks, like that's as good as it could have possibly been. It didn't look great when it happened. It didn't look great when he was walking off the field, holding his shoulder down. I thought for sure it was a dislocation, but right now, just awaiting the results of the MRI. Look, we just saw Derek Carr came back and they just beat the Patriots 34-0. Okay, so Anthony Richardson, he could come back quick. He could be a few weeks, but either way, we have the best backup in the league. Like when Gardner's had to step in, right? Texans game or the Ravens game when he started, had to step into this game. He's 3-0, and the run game is doing its thing. Zack Moss had a huge day. Defense doing their thing, especially in the second half, continuing to be so shut down in the second half. But again, the big news coming out of this one, the Anthony Richardson injury. And a lot of people are going to talk about Anthony Richardson being injury prone. And I get that. Like, I understand that that's going to be the topic of conversation. But my take on that is he could have finished the first game, right? He talked about that. The coaches talked about that. He could have finished the first game, but they went ahead and kept him out. Okay, and what happened there? He banged his knee 2 different times, banged his knee really hard on the turf. And you see that happen to a lot of guys. Bang their knees on the turf like that, wherever it is. They're hitting their knees on the turf, and that stuff hurts, man. A lot of them come up limping, come up, walking a little gingerly, jogging a little more gingerly to the huddle. So that one a little more understandable. Don't really want to. I don't count that as like an Anthony Richardson injury. Again, he could have finished that game. It just didn't make sense at the time to have him finish that game when his knee was already hurting him. But then you go into the Texans game, yeah, the concussion, that's going to be a danger with the way he plays. Right? When he's running, he could just get straight helmet to helmet contact. In the instance of the Texans game, he was falling back and hitting his head on the turf that ended up causing that concussion. So, shuffle that one into the unlucky injuries, right? And then you come into this one, and this is, another one of the dangers of being a running quarterback. You have one of these guys that happened to fall on him and hit his throwing shoulder. And I just don't know how much you start to change who he is, right? Like you have to and have him be who he is. Like those plays that are designed for him to run, but if it's not there, like should he have slid behind the line? If he would have tried to throw it away, would have been called for illegal man downfield. Like how does all that work? So I don't know how we get to a point where we start to see him being able to take care of himself more. We're seeing him slide more. So that's why this is unfortunate, right? A lot of unlucky stuff here. Linebacker just happens to fall on him. The way he falls, it hurts his shoulder. So it's been tough so far, but I personally don't think that he's injury prone. I just think he's been unlucky thus far. And I could get proven wrong. Who knows? You know what I mean? But I think he'll be back, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later. And he's going to keep being Anthony Richardson and keep being electrifying. That JT conversation that we wanted to be having after this game just wasn't in the cards for this when Anthony Richardson goes down, and Jonathan Taylor actually doesn't do a whole lot in this game. I thought it'd be more of a split between him and Zack Moss, but Shane Steichen has talked about in the past, he's willing to go with the hot hand if a guy's on fire. And Zack Moss was on fire all day long. Jonathan Taylor ends up with 6 carries, 18 yards, and 1 reception for 16 yards. But then you look at Zack Moss. Zack Moss went off in this game. 23 carries, 165, and 2 touchdowns, including a career-long 56-yard touchdown that kicked off the celebration for the Colts. That play in the first quarter got us started, got us in the lead, and we stayed in the lead for the remainder of the game. And Zack Moss was a massive part of that. Again, 23 for 165, 2 touchdowns. He also added 2 catches for 30 yards. So all in all, 25 touches, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns for Zack Moss. Had himself a day. Everybody was talking about Jonathan Taylor and how he finally gets the contract. So how's he going to look when he's coming back? He's got the fresh legs. And Zack Moss said, not so fast. Y'all might have paid him, but I'm supposed to be a free agent soon, and I need to get paid too. So Zack Moss making a statement in this game came out and helped carry the Colts here. Right, Anthony Richardson, you look at the passing stats between the two quarterbacks. Anthony Richardson was 9 for 12 for 98 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Gardner Minshew was 11 for 14, 155, no touchdowns, no interceptions. So combined, they were 20 for 26 for 253 yards. Okay, really efficient. They tried for the deep passes, right? There was the connection from AR to Josh Downs down the field. Josh Downs had himself a day too. Josh Downs ends up with 6 catches, 97 yards, easily the best Colts receiver in this game. And he was making it happen. That's who's the downfield guy right now. And I'm completely fine with that, right? But for the most part, just an efficient day from a passing standpoint. And you got to expect that with Gardner Minshew, right? Anthony Richardson also making good decisions with the ball. And overall, a really good day for the passing attack. But this one really comes down to what Zack Moss did and what Zack Moss brought to this game. And as the game went along, look, there were times where it looked like, oh, the Titans might score a touchdown on this drive. They might score a touchdown on this drive. But the defense, even though they were giving up, big plays intermittently throughout the game, when it came time, they were able to get off the field and hold the Titans to field goals. And then you go into the fourth quarter, the game's getting close. The Titans go for it on 4th and 1, and the guys, like the stars of the defense, right? Those are guys you need to step up in moments like that. And Zaire Franklin, DeForest Buckner both stepped up on that 4th and 1 and made the play, got the tackle for loss, and got off the field and got the offense the ball back. And they were able to go down and get a field goal. Right, and on that drive, when you needed big plays, they were able to make the big plays to get themselves down the field. Right, obviously the penalty to Alec Pierce. Now, if that wasn't a penalty, if Alec Pierce had gotten clean around that corner and was able to get downfield, he was about to be by himself, and that would have been a touchdown. So, that was a good route. He drew the pass interference. Alec Pierce helped us win this game for sure. He also had a clutch catch. He only had 1 catch in the game, but it was a clutch catch in the fourth quarter to help keep the offense on the field from 3rd down to 1st down. So happy with what I saw from Alec Pierce, even though, on the stat sheet, it won't say that he did much. Then, the defense did their thing, dude. Ryan Tannehill ends up being 23 of 34, 264, no touchdowns, and the interception to end the game. Julian Blackmon making a great play to end the game for the Colts. And you look at the run defense. 13 carries for Derrick Henry, 43 yards. Tajay Spears was really more of a problem for us. He had 7 carries, 34 yards, and a touchdown, and he also had 4 catches for 35 yards. Now, Derrick Henry added 3 catches, had 19 yards, and really it was just the DeAndre Hopkins show for the Titans today. He had 8 catches for 140 yards. So outside of stopping DeAndre Hopkins, defense did a really good job today. Juju Brents was this close to having his first interception in the NFL. Just couldn't quite bring it in, hit off his fingertips there in the end zone, but almost made a really nice play there. So overall, I think the defense played great, especially with having 2 rookies as the starting corners. Jalen Jones was on the opposite side of Juju Brents, and then having Kenny Moore in there. I thought they played great, for the most part. And the Gus Bradley defense, you'll see, the zones get picked apart from time to time, especially there in the first quarter. That's where Titans got a lot of their yardage, was there in that first quarter. And then their offense kind of sputtered after that when the defense started to lock in. So overall, pleased with what happened today. Would like to see Anthony Richardson get back to the lineup sooner rather than later, but whenever he does come back, just make sure he's 100%. And we got to figure out a way to get things where he's not getting hurt every game. All right, this can be a common occurrence. We can't have another Andrew Luck situation on our hands going forward. So we got to figure that out. But again, good news on that front is that the x-rays were negative. Right now looks like an AC joint sprain. And hey, he's an alien of a quarterback. Hopefully he can be alien enough to come back quickly from this and start winning some games for us. It looks like we're going to be able to compete with anybody this year. All right, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We got a lot to talk about this week. And we're almost to 900 subscribers on the channel, getting so close. So please, again, hit that subscribe button. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.